Thank you, Matt. Let's hear now from the King. The King speaking there. Back now to Friday night with Matt Goodwin in Westminster.
Well, thank you, Sophia. That was the King with a very personal message there about his cancer journey. Joining us to discuss that is GB News royal correspondent Cameron Walker. Cameron, what do you make of the King's statement there that we've just heard?
Well, Matt, as Tom Bauer said just before His Majesty delivered his message, it is unprecedented that the King would speak perhaps so openly about his own cancer journey. And I think the way I'm interpreting this message is one of cautious optimism. So it is, in a sense, good news because he has confirmed that his treatments will be reduced, or the schedule of treatments will be reduced in the new year. At the moment, he is undergoing a weekly cycle of cancer treatments and has done so ever since his diagnosis way back in early 2024. He describes this as good news, and thanks to the early diagnosis of his condition. And the King was speaking during a Channel 4 and Cancer Research UK joint initiative for Stand Up to Cancer UK, confirming that treatments will be reduced, or the schedule of treatments will be reduced. Now, I understand that His Majesty will continue to undergo cancer treatment next year, but his recovery has reached what's been described as a positive stage, and his medical team have advised that the schedule of treatments can be reduced in 2026. And Buckingham Palace has told me that the King has responded exceptionally well to treatment, and his doctors advise that ongoing measures will now move into a precautionary phase. This position will be continuously monitored and reviewed to protect and prioritise his continued recovery. As the King said, this milestone on his recovery journey is a great personal blessing. And palace officials did, however, decline to give me details about the kind of cancer that His Majesty is having, or indeed the treatment, but reaffirms that the King does not have prostate cancer. If you remember way back, Matt, in January 2024, the King spent 3 nights in the central London hospital for treatments on an enlarged prostate, where a separate form of cancer was discovered. It's not publicly known what kind of treatment he has, as I said, but it sounds that the doctors are taking that precautionary measure. And their spokesperson for His Majesty has told me this evening that the King has taken great comfort and encouragement from being able to continue leading a full and active life throughout his treatment. Of course, he's continued, really, hasn't he, with earnest public engagement, but also, of course, heeding the advice of his medical team. His ability to uphold all of his state duties and continue with public engagements and overseas tours has helped greatly with the positive mindset that, as many families will know, is such a vital part of the recovery journey. That's what the spokesperson for the King has told me tonight. Now, Matt, palace officials have said really throughout his kind of health issues over the last year or two that they're not going to give a running commentary of the King's condition ever since he was admitted to hospital almost 2 years ago. But of course, it is a fine balance because His Majesty is head of state, Matt, but also he is a private individual. So I think that's really the balance. But as I said, it's cautious optimism, I think, but certainly a positive step in the right direction tonight.
Breaking news from Buckingham Palace tonight. King Charles III has just revealed a major update on his health as he continues his cancer battle. This is not a drill. In the next few minutes, we'll break down what the palace has confirmed, what this means for the monarchy, and how the nation is reacting. Today, Buckingham Palace released an official statement confirming that King Charles III has shared an update on his ongoing cancer treatment. This message comes directly from the King himself, a rare and deeply personal communication. According to the palace, the King is, insert exact official wording once known, asterisk, but the tone has already sent shockwaves across the UK and around the world. It was earlier this year that King Charles revealed he had been diagnosed with cancer following routine tests. Since then, the palace has been providing cautious updates without disclosing specifics. But today's revelation offers the most detailed look yet into his health. Royal commentators say this update shows not only transparency, but also a strategic effort by the monarchy to prepare the nation for what's next. As expected, the public has reacted with a mixture of concern, support, and curiosity. Thousands have taken to Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook to send messages of love, while others are asking tough questions about the future of the monarchy.
Absolutely. Well, that was GB News royal correspondent Cameron Walker filling us in with the latest news from Buckingham Palace. Joining me now to discuss this in more depth is royal biographer and author Tom Bauer. Tom, a very remarkable message there from the King, not only giving us an update on his personal health, but one of the things that's really hit me there was this astonishing statistic that 9 million people across the country are eligible for cancer screening but haven't taken it up. And it seems that, he's led with this message that is much more about the country and wanting to help the British people than not focus only on his own situation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it was not only unprecedented, but it was a very remarkable broadcast because you had the King there appealing to his subjects, so to speak, to understand the dangers they face and he personally has faced, and using his own personal experience to address the mass of Britons. 50%, he rightly says, are going to be affected by this terrible disease, and urging them on. And I think that'll appeal to a lot of people. A lot of people will have more sympathy for the King now than they might have previously, because he has appealed to them as a human being. And I think that's tremendous. But also, I think there's something else which is very important here, which is that there have been lots of rumours and gossip about the nature of the King's illness. And for him now to say that he's actually got over the worst, so to speak, I think puts to rest a lot of the rumours which suggested it was far worse than we understood. So I think that's doubly good news tonight.
And there's something else here, Tom, this new national cancer screening website that will allow people to go online to essentially look at what they're eligible to use to get this screening that the King is urging them to do. That seems like it's a very practical addition to this debate over how best we can fight cancer.
Well, it is, except what was omitted, what wasn't mentioned, of course, was screening for prostate cancer, which is why he originally went into hospital, and that has become a contentious issue. So there's politics involved in this too. And I think the King, by addressing the need for screening, is also raising with the government that they really do need to protect men too, not just women. And so again, I think Charles, the King, has intervened in a way which is a very positive way of urging politicians to realize how important screening is, and that the prostate screening is as important as cervical and breast screening.
With King Charles continuing treatment, all eyes are on the future, especially on Prince William and Princess Kate. Analysts are saying this update may accelerate William's leadership role within the royal family. This isn't about succession, it's about stability, continuity, and a monarchy under pressure. Medical experts suggest that cancer treatment can have unpredictable effects, especially under the scrutiny the King faces. Meanwhile, royal specialists claim that this public update is meant to reassure the nation, a signal that the King remains engaged, resolute, and determined to fulfill his duties as long as possible. King Charles's health update has sent shockwaves across the Commonwealth and around the world. Now we want to hear from you. Will this change the monarchy's path? And what does the future hold for the royal family? Comment your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for the latest developments. We'll keep you updated as the story evolves.